How we doing? How we feeling? The Hornets got the win against the Hawks, 110 to 107. It was a lot closer than it needed to be at the end of the game, but we ended up with a W, so everything worked out. And let's go ahead and get it started by congratulating my personal player of the game, PJ Hall. Double double coming off the bench, 17 points, 11 rebounds. He was on fire tonight. I absolutely love watching him. He was active on both offense and defense. He looked a lot more coordinated than Kalkbrenner does. I'll go ahead and get into him later, but he was active tonight on offense and defense. Get rebounds, try to flush him in a couple times, missed missed a couple dunks, but we ain't worried about that. But we definitely need to keep him on the active roster because I absolutely love what I saw from him tonight. The effort, the intensity, and he just laid it all out there tonight. And he looked a lot more coordinated than a certain center we got that's 7'1" and doesn't like physical contact. I'll get into him later. However, I do want to acknowledge that even though we're missing Miles Bridges and Diabate, we really ain't missing them. We're missing them, but we're not missing them, if you know what I'm saying. We're still able to hold leads. We're still able to control games. It's really not even affecting us, to be honest. And it seems like we got some weapons on the bench that I didn't even know we had, such as PJ Hall and Tyjon Salon. I think that's his name. My bad if I butcher it, but they left it all out there tonight. I love the effort from them tonight. I was definitely rooting for both of them every time they touched the ball or on defense. Man, you just love to see the underdogs get some playing time. So that was fun to watch. I'm glad we started the game good on defense for the most part. But at the end of the game, I don't know why we kind of shut down and started to fall back on defense, but we finished the game with a W, so that's all that matters. They're not all going to be pretty, so it's just what comes with the territory. And I want to acknowledge that Grant Williams is our personal foul finder. That's what I'm going to start calling him because he's always finding a way to get a foul somehow, some way. He's always finding a way to the free throw line, and he's always giving effort, so you got to love that. Oh yeah, let's address the two fouls that were called and then challenged and reversed. So as a referee, you call a foul on the play live in game, then a coach challenges it, and then you reverse it on yourself. How do you still have a job if you call two fouls on a live play and then reverse it both times on yourself? How does that work? That just didn't make no sense to me. And it seemed like every time they blew the whistle, it was always late. I was sitting there amazed at how often they called late fouls. It's kind of like they forgot they're referees. They're like, yeah, I got the best seat in the house. Oh shit, I'm working. I'm supposed to be paying attention to what's happening. Yeah, that was ridiculous to watch. But on a more positive note, this team has been amazing from the free throw line. Us being good at the free throw line has really solidified some of these games for us. Some of these close games where it's like down to the wire, those free throws came in clutch. And if we weren't good at shooting those free throws, those games probably would end up as losses. Just being completely honest. And oh yeah, let me go ahead and shout out Josh Green. Josh Green has been an amazing piece these last couple games. Playing defense, being a really knockdown shooter from three recently. Because now that we're missing Colin Sexton, he kind of brings that intensity now that Colin had. So I definitely love seeing that. And I cannot wait for Kobe White to start playing. I really feel Kobe White is a very great piece to this team that we actually needed. He's a great scorer, he's solid on defense, and he also brings that discipline and intensity that you look for. I just don't think the Bulls utilized him properly, in my opinion. But now he's back in his home state. I'm sure he wants to ball out, so I'm just waiting to see what he does. A really solid pickup, in my opinion. I know we missed Colin Sexton. He was intense. He brought that energy, but I really think this was a great trade. Now that we've got all the positives out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the negatives. And I want to save the worst for last. So for our first topic of discussion, we're going to be talking about Brandon Miller. And don't get me wrong, he hit some great shots tonight, but we got to address some negatives in his game. Number one, his ball handling is not good at all. It seems like every time he has the ball, he's always dribbling the air out of it, and he doesn't have a good enough handle to be having the ball that long. And it makes me mad whenever he's dribbling the ball up the court. Whenever we inbound the ball to him, for him to dribble the ball up the court, he always stops right after he crosses the half-court line, and then the team start to trap him. He starts to lose control of the ball, and then that equals turnovers. So we do not need him bringing the ball up the court at all. And not to mention, whenever he brings the ball up the court, he doesn't even keep his eyes up. There's been so many times I've seen teammates open, and he's just not paying attention. He's only focused on scoring for himself, and it honestly just pisses me off to watch. So the only time Brandon Miller should have the ball in his hands and dribbling is if he's driving to the basket. That is the only time he should be dribbling the basketball. He does give us a lot of clutch shots, but dribbling is not his strong suit, and we do not need to see it. And another thing I noticed in his game too is that he doesn't really like contact that much. I was watching tonight and he was kind of avoiding contact by fading away or just steering clear of contact. I'm like, you got to go into the contact at some point and just draw a foul or something because you can't just keep running away from contact. But those are some things I see in his game that I really don't like. But I'll go ahead and leave Brandon Miller alone. He had a solid game. He's had some clutch shots for us recently. However, this next person I definitely want to talk about. Trey Mann. Watching Trey Mann is honestly getting on my damn nerves because he's always passing up open shots to dribble the ball or just turn the ball over by making a bad pass. I guess he doesn't have the confidence or he doesn't want to seem like a ball hog. But if you have those open shots, take them. Even I think I seen LaMelo yelling at him one time to take the open shot. Like, you're costing us possessions. You got to take those shots. And another thing I've been seeing him do is passing the ball up to, say, like a Brandon Miller or a Sion James for them to run the offense. No, you're the point guard. It's your job to facilitate the offense and coordinate everything. What is even the purpose of you being on the floor if you can't even do that? You're the point guard. And he's also another person I think dribbles the air out of the ball too. I feel like he's more focused on embarrassing his defender because there's been times he's had space to get a shot off and he just keeps dribbling. So I'm not too fond on watching Trey Mann. But I want to get to the last person I want to talk about. Ryan Kalkbrenner. Watching this dude play basketball will give you a migraine to the 1,000th degree. And he had a few good plays tonight, but just watching him recently, I just can't handle it. He lacks strength for somebody that's 7'1". He's never in position to get rebounds. He's never boxing out. He's always the one getting boxed out. He's always watching the play happen instead of being a part of the play. He just stands there and watches everybody do their own thing. He's just too weak to be 7'1", in my personal opinion. I saw more from PJ Hall tonight than I've seen from Kalkbrenner damn near the entire season. He lacks physicality. You can't be 7'1". What is he? Like 240 something pounds, 250? Afraid of contact. And I saw him fade away from contact in the paint. I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. So he's either got to get more muscle and just get stronger, or we've just got to find somebody else who wants to be physical in the paint. And speaking of the paint, have we had any post game at all? Like, have we sent the ball down to the post for our big men to put work in the paint? I don't believe we have. It seems like we rely heavily on three-pointers and mid-range. I would love to see us develop a little post game, but I guess we don't have the personnel for that because I definitely don't think Diabate has a post game at all, and Kalkbrenner's afraid of contact, so I guess we just ain't gonna have one. But we've been winning, so I guess it doesn't matter. But I do think that's about all I got. Everything I wanted to cover, I feel like I've already talked about. I talked about the positives. I talked about the negatives. So yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about tonight. But let me know how you guys felt about the game in the comments. Or if there's players you want to praise or players you want to see who need to improve, definitely type that in the comments as well. But that's all I got for you guys tonight. Enjoy the win. We managed to recoup ourselves from a tough loss from the Pistons. We got our W today, so it didn't affect us. And let's continue to ride this momentum. All right, guys. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.